And action! Welcome to another episode of the Action Podcast, episode 35. Coming in hot, we have three new films that we're going to review today. The number one being Till, which actually is not available for everyone yet. It comes out nationwide, I believe, the 27th, I believe, is nationwide. But us, luckily being in Los Angeles, we get an early preview. I did go to Burbank myself to see it, and Pete, it's out in your theater
in West LA. Yeah,
yeah.
I was able to see it, and I'm so happy I did.
Yeah, and we'll get right into that. And then the other two films, Halloween Ends, which is the end of the Halloween franchise. Who knows what's the future of that? And then lastly, Curse of Bridge Hollow, starring Marlon Wayans. That's on Netflix now. So with that, Pete, let's get right into it with Till. Let's go.
7.5 on IMDb, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. This was. I don't want to say that this was a joy to watch because the subject matter is awful, and it's something that I remember when I first heard about this story as a teenager, always thinking about, I wanted to make this film, and if I was going to make this film, they did it exactly how I would have done it. The performances were stunning, moving. You felt every moment of just absolute devastation and sorrow and anger, frustration, but you also felt the love at the very beginning. I thought the director, I'm going to get this wrong, Chinyone Chukwa, she shot this movie beautifully. I think it was really just a gorgeous movie.
Yeah.
And I thought it was powerful. This is easily one of my favorite films of the year. And Danielle Deadwyler, I said in a previous podcast that Ana de Armas was a shoo-in for Best Actress. I amend that statement and I say that she absolutely deserves Best Actress. I mean,
it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle. I could see it going anywhere.
When she first sees her son in the casket, like, her response to that sold me on everything. Just like I could never portray what it would be like to see my son like that, and just incredible. The whole cast was really acted.
Yeah, Whoopi Goldberg was really. I mean, she's almost unrecognizable. How
it was subtle but good. I think the aunt who was supposed to sort of be in charge of her, I thought she was phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's one of the best films of the year.
For sure, and there's a lot of aspects that you're talking about, just the filmmaking in general, that I think really separates this film. And one, the music is fantastic in this film, and it really, I think, lifts the film to another level. Because sometimes it's films like the music just doesn't stand out, but this one does. Like, to me, there's a big difference when it comes to these tough subject matters. And there's Schindler's List. And then there's like 12 Years a Slave. 12 Years a Slave was a great film. I never want to watch again, right? Schindler's List, I'll watch that. I can watch that multiple times because it's really such a well-crafted film. You can ingest the tough subject matter, and I think with this film,
I watched 12 Years a Slave several times.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's just. It's like, I got it. It's a good film. I just don't want to really.
I can't pronounce his name, but the guy who stars in it is one of my favorite actors. He's so good in everything that he does. He crushes.
For sure. But yeah, my comp on this one is Schindler's List, just because, again, I think this is a film that handles, again, it uses all the tools in the toolbox, with acting, performances, cinematography, music, editing. There's several moments in this film where, like you're mentioning, the director just said, I'm not moving the camera. I'm just going to keep the camera here, and you watch it. And there's other stuff going around it, but the camera stays. And
I think that was intentional, because it's
100% intentional. That's
how she was, and that was her statement to the world, was that no, you look.
Yeah, exactly.
You feel this, you experience this, and you wake the fuck up.
Yeah, we're not shying away. We're not going to shy away from this one.
What a brave woman, and what a, not a brave performance, but what an incredible performance, man.
No, all of them. The kid that played Emmett Till, I mean, he was fantastic, and sometimes,
Very sweet, very cute.
especially when you're talking like younger actors, right? And we're saying acting, the word acting, and sometimes people do quote unquote act. I didn't feel like this kid was acting at all. I mean, he was the character.
I felt I was watching Till on screen, just hopping around in a great mood and loving life and optimistic and joyful.
Yeah, it was a perfect performance and on so many levels. So obviously, folks, if you haven't figured it out, we both highly recommend seeing this. This is one of the best films, not of just this year, but I think of the last several years. One of the better
This is an
historical
absolute
films.
must see.
Yeah, one of the better historical films of the 2000s. I'm gonna go that far. Like I said, I put this on the level of Schindler's List. So I think this is a film that may have some legs on it in terms of we'll keep talking about this film over and over and over again. I mean, this is just a really,
And
really well crafted film.
Danielle Denweiler, like I didn't really know a lot about her prior to this, but I think we're going to
Same.
find out a whole lot more about her, and we're going to see her in
She's
incredible
at
films
she's at the
in the future.
minimum going to be an Oscar nominated actress at the minimum. Uh,
I think she wins it. You heard me first. I don't think that there's. I mean,
I,
Anna de Armas did a great job as Marilyn Monroe. I mean, she really transformed herself. But I don't know what this woman did.
I'm
I
with
don't
you.
know if you
To
can
me, to
top
me,
that.
I hope it's a co. I hope it's a co. I think I don't want to make that decision. I don't. It's hard
I'll
for me to
make
say
it.
one performance is better than the other. I think they're co, but I know
No,
people.
I think they're both great performances. I just think that she just
Yeah,
kind of gave us that little bit of extra.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it would be a tragedy if she doesn't win.
for sure. So with that, Pete, we want to give the audience, just like we mentioned, it's one of the best films of the year. Where actually does it rank, Pete, in your top five 2022 films? And Pete was upset that I gave him this list last
In
minute.
this list 5 minutes ago.
Hey, that's what we
Um,
do in the Action Podcast. Sometimes, like you're saying, you want to make the tough decisions. Well, here we go. We got another tough
yeah,
decision for you. That's our job, Pete, here at the
I
Action
will.
Podcast. So,
I will say that this was very tough to do in 5 minutes. There are two movies. I'm just going to mention them real fast that I think might potentially be in my top five ultimately, just because I have a feeling. One is Medieval, which I haven't seen yet. I started it and I'm about 25 minutes into it,
that
and
one's
I'm
good.
absolutely loving it so far.
Yeah.
And my man Ben Foster's in it, who's the best actor of all time.
What I
The
tell you,
other,
that's Braveheart Light. Did I use those terms, I believe?
it's so good so far. So
Yeah.
I don't know
I want
if
to
it
watch that
keeps
one again.
going. If it keeps going the way it's going, I'm gonna throw that in my top five. But I feel like Wakanda Forever is also going to be a movie that's going to ultimately be in my top
Yeah.
five eventually. But I
Yeah.
can't obviously say that now. Okay, here's my top five of
Oh, the
20.
Fablemans too. I'm really looking forward
Mm,
to the Fablemans. Steven
yeah,
Spielberg's new one.
can't wait for that one.
That
That one
one. That one
almost
might be a
seems
top
like
five.
an autobiographic movie in a
Oh, it's
way.
100%. That's literally him. I mean, I've already read his biography. Uh,
Okay.
it's to me, it's going to be a Super 8 meets Steven Spielberg autobiography. I mean, that's what it looks
Yeah.
like to me. So
So
go ahead and give us your top five.
I'll save my other ones, my honorable mentions until afterwards. So number five for me, this movie I didn't expect anything from, to be honest, and it ended up being one of the better movies that I saw this year. So I'm putting it at number five just so people go and see it because it's an excellent movie. It's the greatest beer run ever. I
Yeah.
just absolutely loved this film. On every level. Number four for me is this one right here, Till. I think this was just an incredible film. We've already talked about it. Number three, I put Thor: Love and Thunder. Um, not only because of the popularity of it, but because of how absolutely hilarious this film was. I haven't seen a non-comedy be so funny.
It's a
In
comedy. I don't. People
it's
don't
a
want to call it
super
comedy, but it
it's a
is.
superhero movie, and you go into it thinking it's going to be a superhero movie, and meanwhile, I didn't stop laughing
Yeah.
one time throughout this movie. It
No, we
was so
watched it together. Yeah, it was
yep,
good.
we were holding hands. It was cute.
Yeah.
Number two for me is Nope. Yeah,
Oh wow,
just
give it that high.
every time I see it, and I've seen it several times, um, just the amount of layers that are in this film and the messaging that's throughout this film. I thought it was an innovative way to tell an alien story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
is incredible. Number one for me, you can't not say it's Top Gun Maverick, only because of the absolute smashing numbers that
Have
it's
you watched it
done.
again yet or no?
I'll watch it again, and I've revised my previous thoughts.
Thank
And
you on behalf of the
this movie
audience.
is it's a phenomenal movie, and you can't beat it, especially after that much of a gap in
Yeah.
between a sequel. Like that could have gone really, really horribly wrong, and they just crushed. Tom Cruise.
Yeah. It's the practical of the film. I mean, it's like you're saying. There's no movie tricks.
No,
It's oh hey, he's actually in the cockpit and they're filming him flying and the jets are actually flying. There's very minimal CGI, and that was their outcome, and that's why this movie is so good. Is
okay.
you feel like you're in the cockpit with Tom Cruise, and it's so good. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So mine, very similar. Actually, surprised you left one of them off, but so my number five, it was your number two, which is Nope. And I agree with you. Like the more I watch it, the more I like. And like there's a couple other films I was like, oh, maybe I'll put in my top five. I'm like, but I gotta have Nope in there. Like it's so good.
Nope.
And I love like the historical film aspect of it. And again,
Yeah.
I know some people don't like the ending, but like I was talking with somebody else today. It's like, where were you gonna go with it? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't really care. It's my number five. Number four is Hustle, and we talked about being one of the best sports films of all time. I
It
can watch
was
Hustle again and be very happy.
it was between that and Greatest Beer Run. Hustle was a phenomenal film.
Yeah. My number three is Till. Like I said, I think that's
Yeah.
where this one high and these three films that I'm going to mention, including Till. These aren't 2022 films. These are 2020 films, the decade, and 2000 films. Like these are some of the best films of this.
All timers, yeah.
Yeah. My number two is Everything Everywhere All at Once, and not everybody's
Yeah.
seen it yet. I don't even think you've seen it yet, Pete.
No,
But
I saw it. It was innovative, and it was tough to leave off the list. I just thought I knew that you were going to put it on there, so I wanted to give some love to
for sure,
Greatest Beer Run.
yeah, for sure, and I appreciate that you did that. That is a great film. I want to watch Greatest Beer Run again because
Good.
maybe that will pop in my top five by the end of the year. The more I watch it, and the number one, like you already mentioned, is Top Gun. It's critically acclaimed. It's number one in the box office. One of the highest grossing sequels of all time, American films, like whatever metric you want. This is one of the greatest films in the box office, and I hope that film gets love on as one of the greatest films of all time. That's how good I think Top Gun is, Maverick.
Yeah.
Awesome. So with that, Pete, let's move to the
Actually,
second
real
film.
fast, let's just mention a couple that
Okay, yeah, go for it.
should be in some sort of a top 10 at some point, potentially. I think Turning Red is a phenomenal film. It's really innovative in terms of the subject matter and turning it into a great kids film.
Yeah,
But Vengeance, tough for me to leave Vengeance off. I thought I enjoyed Vengeance, and when I saw it, I'll be doing my review of that shortly.
yeah.
I think it's one of the better movies I've seen this year. Black Phone, we can't dismiss how great that film was. And a sneaky top 10 movie this year, Day Shift from Netflix.
Oh, that was good. Yeah,
thought it was incredible.
I'm gonna throw Smile in there too. I really like Smile.
Smile's good. Yeah, Smile's good. That might crack the top 10, but I don't know. There were so many good films this year.
Well, yeah, Woman
Maybe
King was
Battles,
good.
too,
I have Woman King as well. Fall. I really enjoyed Fall.
which I haven't seen yet.
13 Lives
13 Lives was good. Yeah,
and Adam Project on Netflix was really good.
which I need to see.
Yeah, those are a few of the ones.
Good.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah,
Love it.
so Pete, Halloween ends. I'll start with this one since you started with the last one. So I had to do little. I've never really been in the franchise. Never even saw the original. So we had to what's the word? Crash.
Cram.
Do a crash course. Cram. Yeah, I really crammed
The night
the
before.
original Halloween right before. It's an hour and a half movie, and I saw in 45 minutes. So I didn't fully get the original experience that great, but the original's like, okay, it doesn't necessarily hold up very well. I thought the pacing was a little slow, but that's a 70s film, right? I thought it's paced like a 70s film. But this new one, I think the opinions on this are going to be all over the place, depending on where you fall in terms of like your Halloween lore, or this is your traditional slasher film, and all that. But I'll say this: I was entertained. I don't think this is necessarily one of the greatest films of all time, but I
You
think
were entertained, you said?
I was entertained. Yeah,
Okay.
I enjoyed the story. I thought the pacing was good. Um, you know, there's definitely moments where you're cringing and all that good stuff. Like I said, to me, it's if you have some sort of emotion, then the movie's doing something right. And so there's moments where I'm like, oh, like just doing the whole thing, and yeah, I had a good time. Like I said, we were eating popcorn, having a drink. So I take this as a popcorn film. I wouldn't take this any longer. But I know some people are gonna. Everyone liked it though that I was with. So
Yeah. I'm going to ultimately destroy this film. This was a this was terrible. This was not a good film at all. Director David Gordon Green, I know that he did this Halloween revamp, these three films. This is supposed to be Halloween Ends of this trilogy, not necessarily of all
oh, got it. Okay.
50 films. So he directed all three. He's directing the upcoming Exorcist revamp. So I'm hoping that he sticks to what he did in the first Halloween than what he did to this one. This seemed very much false advertising. This was really about the trailer was the last 5 minutes of the film, and you don't see Jason ever in this film. You got to
Jason's
go
not in this
40,
film. That's why.
you got to go 40 minutes into this film before you even see a glimpse of him for a split second.
Well, Pete, let's
And then
be clear.
after that,
Jason's not in this film.
no, he's not in this film. No, Michael Myers, sorry.
Yeah.
Michael Myers is not in this film at all. This is not a Halloween movie. They brought in another kid.
Well, yeah. Ultimately, this was supposed to be, like you're saying, almost a handoff. Like it's a mentor, type of film, and that's where
Okay,
they try to
spoiler,
go.
just don't skip ahead 5 minutes if you don't want to find out the ending
Yeah,
of this
spoiler,
awful movie.
spoiler.
This horrible movie. You can't have a mentor and have them both die. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like
that's why it failed ultimately.
it was really bad. I felt there was a WB show like Vampire Diaries for the first hour. It was really just cheesy. I didn't think that the acting was really that great. I felt like they decided. I feel like whoever wrote this film had an ending and was like, okay, there's going to be this big fight between Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael Myers. I need something for the rest of the film, and then went out and found a different story, and then was just like, let's just make this film. I mean, the beginning just really had nothing to do with anything. This was a big waste of time. I just did not enjoy this at all. There was no jump scares. There was nothing scary about it. I mean, the
Yeah, I
first
wouldn't.
one,
We were talking about that last night. I don't
the
at
first
all think
one,
this is a scary film. I
you
think
have
this
to put
is
yourself
a
in the
shock film.
1970s when you're watching that first film, and nobody had ever really seen a movie like that, and so there was this element of horror to it, but
Sure, but I think that I don't know. I enjoy this again. I crash course.
nothing horrific about this
I
movie
thought this was
except for
way
the
better
actual
than the
movie.
original. I could watch this again versus the original. I was like, ah.
No way. You watch the original for nostalgia and for appreciation of what it did for the time.
I get that, but
You
I'm
don't
just
watch
saying
this movie for any reason.
the original. I was not. We have the exact opinion, but I feel that of the original. Again, I was not entertained at all. It was
Yeah.
slow. It was boring, and I get it. There has not been a. I understand the historical significance of the original, but it's not very entertaining
Yeah.
because it's paced like a '70s film, and it's just slow. Again, this one, it uses all the sound design is much better, of course. Like there's again, I didn't watch this very seriously. I was there to just kind of enjoy it. So I wasn't watching it like a film critic or anything like that. I just ingested this like,
Yeah.
and I had a good time. It was 90 minutes.
I ingested it and pooped it out real quick. Like I just don't.
Yeah. Awesome, Pete. Well, again, So people, buyers beware on it. Obviously, you got two different opinions here.
Don't go into it expecting to see a Halloween movie because it's not.
And
It's
here's the
not a
good news.
Michael Myers movie at all.
Here's the good news, people. If you have the cock, you can watch it on the cock. You don't have to spend money.
It's
So
true.
I would say it's worth it to see it on Peacock Network. If not, yeah, maybe don't go see it. Who knows? But I had a good time. Pete did not. Take that for what it's worth. And so our last film, with that being said, is Curse of Bridge Hollow. And
Yes.
Pete, I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say about this one. This is with, again, Marlon Wayans. Is Sean Wayans in this one or no?
No, just Marlon.
Okay, so this stars Marlon Wayans. It's on Netflix. Pete, what do you got?
If you only have one night and you can only watch one movie and you want it to be Halloween based, you should have Halloween Ends or you have The Curse of Bridge Hollow.
Or Hocus Pocus 2.
I would go Curse of Bridge Hollow.
Okay.
It's not great. It's cute. There's a couple of chuckles here and there. It's a good Halloween family film, as long as the person who's watching it isn't too young, because there are some very frightening images that young kids could be scared of. But if the kids are a little bit older, they would probably enjoy it. And a couple of curse words in there as well.
And so to be cleared for our audience, this is not a, so this is not a spoof. This is not scary movie. This is not just so, because Marlon Wayans, that's what he does, right? He's a spoof guy. So I want to make sure, because that's what I thought when I saw the title of it, Curse of Bridge Hollow. I thought maybe this is a Halloween. Yeah,
No, this is the story of this family moves from Brooklyn to this small town of Bridge Hollow, where he got a job as a teacher. The kid obviously doesn't want to move. The dad isn't he's a scientist, so he doesn't believe in anything that can't be explained. And so there's this curse that sort of happens that the daughter, who's really into paranormal stuff, which the dad thinks is ridiculous, she inadvertently releases this spirit who then turns all of the Halloween decorations around town to life.
Got it.
And then the story goes from there. Again, it's cute. It's a fun time for a little while. It's not something that I want to watch all the time, like every year for Halloween, but it was a nice attempt. I mean, and
check it out.
Marlon Wayans, like I said, has a couple of times where he makes you laugh. I feel like a lot of his jokes were just really bad, and that's not his fault. I think that's just the writing of it. But
yeah,
the ones that he did shine on were hilarious, because I mean, he's a Wayan, and the Wayans are just funny dudes, inherently. So I would recommend seeing this over Halloween Ends for sure. 100%.
Awesome.
Not great, but not awful.
Cool. All right. Well, with that, Pete, we'll wrap it up. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you comment, like us below. Let us know what movie you want us to review. We definitely, with the holidays coming up, we got a lot of films we're going to try and cram in here before the 2022 ends. The next films we have on tap, we have Goonies and Star Wars still to be released. And then we also have Black Adam is coming out. That's next week. And then I know we also have
Paradise comes out as well.
Yeah, Tickets to Paradise will be next week. And then I know we got Wakanda Forever coming up soon, but I think that's early November 7th, right?
Yeah,
that's in a few weeks. So a couple of movies to look forward to. And then we're available on all the popular podcast networks: Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio. Wherever you get your favorite podcasts, you can get ours. So with that, Pete, that is a cut. Thanks, guys.